everyone, and welcome to another Fast and Furious commentary. Uh, Not really third time's the charm, is it? Instead, we've kind of hit Ace Attorney Case 3 syndrome here. This is Tokyo Drift.
Well put,
The bad
Roy.
one, apparently.
Well put, Roy. Well put. Yes, okay, we go from 2001, the time of the early 2000s where things were wacky and kooky and crazy, to 2003, the time of otherwise decent, if not amazing sequels, to 2006. Oh dear.
2006 was a cursed year.
Especially when it came to prequels. Yeah, there were several prequels that came out. Of course, mainly at this time, the prequels people were paying mind to were Spider-Man 3, Shrek the Third, and Pirates of the Caribbean 3. But no one ever brings up this.
Though, Jova.
Never mind.
It was still a cursed year, okay?
Yeah. No one really likes to talk about this movie from the franchise that much, which is such a shock, seeing as how this is apparently connected to some of the best movies in the franchise. Dwibs, could you ever imagine why no one would want to talk about this movie?
Because it's shit.
That's the Cliff Notes version. As for the full expedition, well, folks, bon appetit on Le Crap Fest.
Okay, it was direct. And it's an interesting thing. It was who directed and wrote this movie. This one was directed by Justin Lin and written by Chris Morgan, aka two guys who would later go on to help revitalize the series with 4, 5, and 6, and Chris Morgan would write a couple of others after that.
Do you think they felt so guilty about how this movie nearly killed the franchise?
Yeah. The same people that revived the franchise nearly killed it.
Now, there's a story you don't hear often.
And this film cost $85 million to make and only made $158.5 million. Pretty much flop territory. In fact, if it weren't for the decent international gross and good DVD sales, this probably would have killed the series then and there.
And with a 38% approval on Rotten Tomatoes, the consensus being eye-popping driving sequences coupled with a limp story and flat performances make this Drift a disappointing follow-up to previous Fast and Furious installments.
Yeah, all right. Let's not beat about the bush. Let's get on with this. Start before the Universal logo in. Oh, you get the countdown, Shiri.
3, 2, 1, click.
Well, you know, if we went to be on theme, we should have said, ready, set, go!
Oh yeah, by the way, in Japan, this film's called Wild Speed X3 Tokyo Drift.
I wonder how Japan feels that the weakest installment takes place in, well, their capital city.
Are you able to find out how well this was received over in Japan, or?
Well, I suppose you could easily Google it.
Welcome to
But before we get to Tokyo, let's start off in the good old heartland of America.
Fast forward, apparently. There we are. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Oh, and here's problem 1 with the movie.
Oh, Lucas Black. Yes, folks. Don't expect the main cast to be in this movie. Now, to be fair, stuff like Jurassic World has shown us you don't necessarily need the iconic main cast of a franchise to have a successful sequel. That said, unlike Jurassic World, I don't think this movie knows what it's doing. Dwibs, why don't you tell our audience about our main star, Lucas Black?
Okay, Lucas Black has had no acting training or I mean, he had acting experience. He was in films such as Sling Blade, Flash, Crazy in Alabama, funny because he's from Alabama, All the Pretty Horses, Friday Night Lights, Jarhead of all films, and this one. He was in some stuff since then. However, watching him in this film, I struggle to think how I managed to get cast in those previous movies because he is just awful in this film.
So he's kind of like, from what I understand, the southern Kellen Lutz. Well, I mean, I guess unlike Kellen Lutz, he His career didn't go on for as long, apparently.
He got better. I'll admit. From his brief scene in Furious 7, he got better.
So what else has he been in?
Since 2014, he's been in NCIS New Orleans.
Ah, so TV stardom was more his bang, I guess.
Yeah, and also he was in Legion.
So look at this. Our hero here is... he's someone who, I guess, doesn't like them picking on the other kids.
Also, he stares a lot.
And he lets them do their thing to that kid. Such a likable guy, ain't he, Shiroi?
Totally.
Oh yeah, interesting. Another interesting thing about this particular character that Lucas Black's playing, in this case Sean Boswell. They're in high school. At the time they were filming this movie, Lucas Black was 23.
Yeah, how convincing would you say the actors are with their ages?
He's even less convincing than the people they picked to play high schoolers in either the Sam Raimi or Mark Webb Spider-Man movies.
Like, at least in the Raimi movies, you know, those were basically people going to college.
Thompson, they were in high school, though, Jova.
Well, yeah, but it was their senior year. Like, they're on the way out.
Oh, yeah. If by senior year you mean 30-year-old Flash Thompson, then yeah.
At least he acted like a kid more so. Speaking of acting like a kid, yeah, that guy, he just committed a felony. Praise him.
He threw a baseball at him.
Well, to be fair, that did shatter the car window.
He's gonna stare at you. That's what he's gonna do.
Uh-oh, he's bringing out the wrench. Okay.
Sure, what the hell?
Oh, you broke it. What?
Does whoever goes fast turn you on?
They are in high school. How old are these people?
In universe or out of universe?
Yeah, in universe.
They're supposed to be high schoolers, so unless we have some people who get held back a lot, I would assume somewhere from 14 to 18.
Yeah, it's basically our secondary school equivalent.
Yeah, and they're in Arizona, so
Ooh, she drops her bra as the starting line. Raunchy. I mean, I'm not gonna act like the other movies weren't above this kind of stuff, but I don't know. Somehow it felt like they were more dignified than this. Yeah, folks, this is only my second time movie, and I'll just say, the first time I saw this movie, did not care for it as much as I thought I was going to. Hey, at least we'll probably have more to talk about than we did in the previous movie.
yeah, I just wish it were for better reasons, but
Yeah.
we will have more to say.
Like I said, the second movie was good, you know? I mean, it does feel like a very, very, very obvious transfer type of movie, but it still holds its own weight. This movie... Well, okay, let's just see more of our endearing protagonist. Let's see, for the first movie, we had Dominic Toretto opposite of Brian. You know, Dom was basically this criminal who had a code of honor. He didn't really need to steal, but it felt like he got a high, which had to deal with his PTSD from his father dying. Interesting character stuff here. The second movie saw us having Brian hook up with his old pal Roman Pierce, who had a very deep and complicated relationship with him, and we saw how they bonded over the time. This movie, on the other hand, Okay, all you need to know right now is that our protagonist's troubles, they're all on him. Like, you could maybe say he has some trauma, but at worst, let's just say it's a cliched one, and one that doesn't really excuse it. Well, at least we have the action to fall back. What do you think, guys?
The action, you mean?
Yes.
Again, it's fine. Although, again, Justin Lin would do much better than this.
Uh-huh.
I mean, at least they're starting off with a car race.
Yeah. Give the fans what they want, after all. Oh, I thought you loved me! Again, girl, what is with you? Do you just get turned on by who wins a race or whatnot? And yes, folks, I know that there was also that one girl who promised herself to that rapper in the first movie, but that was more a side bit. This is part of the main plot, which is pushing forward the action, which means it's a lot more in focus, which just makes me realize how more ridiculous it is. And in a franchise like this, I shouldn't be having to call out ridiculousness.
Oh.
Well, downright murder it is then.
So,
oh yeah,
if he doesn't get a date, he's gonna crash the car and possibly injure them, rather than see his precious date leave them.
If I can't have you, then we die together!
Why did she get in the car with him anyway?
To egg him on?
I mean, that was your first mistake.
I really don't know. Don't.
Well done there, mate.
Well done indeed. I can't tell if he was supposed to be enjoying himself or terrified with that shot.
I think that was adrenaline.
I guess.
Well, congratulations, you've wrecked. Okay, it's not all his fault, to be fair. That other guy was being a prick. But
They're both as bad as each other.
Oh boy.
And I'm surprised any of them are still alive, especially those.
Why are you glaring at him? It was the other guy that crashed your car. Why are you winking?
What? That's.
We're off to such a great start with this movie. Can I get a...
Interesting.
Your car was wrecked anyway.
Also, with as many driving offenses like that, yeah, that car is as good as...
Mm-hmm. Oh, divorcee. You can tell she's a bad mother because she smokes.
It says no smoking.
Is she gonna flirt with the investigator here?
Oh boy. Oh yeah, apparently he makes a habit of it. And by we, I mean me, because you are moving, actually, son.
Yeah, because you kept wrecking stuff in this one city in the US, we're sending you over to Japan.
You're a whole other country's problem now.
Yep.
Yeah, Tokyo. Yeah, it's not like the movie's named after city.
No, we're in Kyoto.
And now you're making me think of a Fast and Furious anime. Especially considering how the plot of this movie works like an anime.
I wonder if there is one.
Surprised there isn't one, considering, from what I understand, the movies do well enough over there to have them all have been released over there.
Yeah.
Okay, I do appreciate that the music at least isn't stereotypically Japanese, sorry.
I know, right?
If it were, it'd either be all on, like, ancient Japanese instruments, or kawaii songs.
I was wondering if they'd stereotype anything.
Hi,
actually.
KFC, McDonald's.
Hey,
Citibank.
McDonald's in Japan is actually good.
Really now?
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder what they do differently there.
So what's he gonna do? Walk through the door? Straight out of paper?
Nah, he's gonna ring the bell. It's gonna be polite.
Hi, deadbeat. I mean, dad.
Actually,
Oh.
his dad works in the army.
Funnily enough,
Is this an uncle? Or...
let's just say, you know, that's the weird thing.
Oh no, this is his father. Okay.
Did they establish that his dad works in the army? Because from what we've seen,
the Navy. Sorry, the Navy.
Oops.
Is this a bad time?
Probably.
Here, you can have the bed where we banged in just a minute ago. Were you staying in a place like this, Shuri, when you went to Japan?
Nah.
Did it have more room to it?
I stayed in a few different places because I did the whole Airbnb thing. So it was just like apartments, so.
So, okay, his father's in the U.S. Navy, but it seems that he is divorced from his mother still. Unless he was born out of child wedlock or that stuff, in which case, oh boy. Yes, rules. Oh, Shiroi, welcome to Action Movie Cliché. So will he A, follow the rules, B, blatantly disregard them, or C, how do you even need to pick?
I'm gonna go with C for obvious.
Exactly. Oh, he has to live in a closet. Oh wait, was that an extra room?
What's she watching?
Something Japanese.
An anime?
Kanasai!
Oh. Alright, time for school and wait, if this is in Japan, oh yeah, he has to wear those kind of uniforms.
Oh boy.
The ones that make you look like train to school leaves at 0700. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's something I've been wondering. What is it about the men's uniforms? It makes you look like someone who's dressed up to go to church.
I know, right?
I actually like the uniforms.
Oh, for the men or the girls?
The male one. I actually think
Ah,
it looks cool.
well, Lucas,
Hello and
congrats. Your life is officially about to become an anime now, complete with the school and everything.
hello and welcome to our playthrough of Persona 5, I guess.
Oh,
Hang on, where are the students making bad rumors about him?
we'll get those eventually, I'm so sure.
Oh, you do not want to be late.
How's he supposed to learn anything? Does he speak? I don't think he speaks Japanese.
Good question.
It's interesting because, like, do they do this for the sake of shenanigans? Because, I mean, there are international schools, like, scattered all over the place.
I guess we needed shenanigans for our movie.
I'm surprised they don't have like ones where you can put on a headset and they speak your language to you while the teacher's speaking, or the school's not rich enough for that.
I think we can all agree that in real life, surely they'd have something to, accommodate for a student like
He has
this.
to take off his. He has to take off his shoes because and wear them.
Uniform
It's to keep dirt out.
Ah, yes.
Okay. If nothing else, Tokyo Drift at least does show off a decent amount of Japanese culture.
Yeah, that is.
There's actually quite a few cafes that we went to when I was over there that you had to wear slippers to go into.
Interesting.
Did he have size 12?
They have like all different sizes. They just hand them out, so they have plenty.
Oh boy, here's a special actor, Little Bow Wow. Or Lil Bow Wow.
Ah, that's a name I'm familiar with.
You may remember him from movies such as Like Mike, as well as Johnson Family Vacation and Roll Bounce.
And like Sean here, Bow Wow's character is an army brat.
Although I'll admit I like him better than Lucas Black's character. Prepare for me to introduce a lot of characters as they're nice. I like him better than our main protagonist. I mean, yeah, he's kind of the stereotypical black best friend, but he's a lot more street smart than our protagonist here is, and trust me, that'll come to show big time. It's interesting seeing him go from kid-friendly stuff to this, though. Dude really shot up in a few years. Huh?
Well, I mean, when he was in Like Mike, he was a child, so just.
I know. It's so surreal.
How old is he?
Nowadays? Let's see.
No, I mean not in this movie.
Let's see. He's 32 now, so this movie came out in 2006.
19.
Huh? Yeah.
20 or 19 to 20.
Yeah. And let's see.
You want to hear someone someone else who wasn't a fan of this movie?
Who?
Rob Cohen.
Rob Cohen.
The director of the first one.
Oh, what a shock.
Yes, the same man who would go on to give us Mummy 2 of the Dragon Emperor did not like this movie. He's quoted as saying, "If you were to just watch Tokyo Drift, you'd say, I'd never want to see anything related to Fast and Furious again."
I'm not quite sure I'd call it that bad, though it is pretty bad.
Maybe banned from driving.
I'm still kind of just waiting at the moment because, I mean, aside from the characters being very stupid, nothing awful has happened yet.
Dweebs, when would you say the point will come for Shiroi in that threshold?
When it just gets really boring.
So
also, yeah, he's banned from driving, but in his home state and country.
Actually, his father told him not to go anywhere near a car here.
Oops. I guess you could maybe say he didn't know what he was getting himself into. Then again, he blatantly asked to come here. And Shiroi, are you ready to see what an anime would be like brought to real life? Because the costumes in this movie are, well, they're, I'll just let you have a look.
Okay, another interesting thing about this movie is the technology it uses. This film was released in 2006, yet chronologically it takes place in 2013.
Wait. Oh, really? So did they actually establish this as 2013 from the get-go?
Future movies would end up doing that.
Okay.
And yet, despite the fact that smartphones were a thing at the time, everyone here uses flip phones. Although apparently Japan still uses flip phones a lot, so
Okay, to be...
not that bad.
Although the fact that there are no smartphones to be found here, though, is awkward. I mean, I guess, to be fair, there's a reason why they set this one so far into the future. But on the other hand, though, oopsie.
Also, apparently Paul Walker wasn't asked to come back because Universal felt he was too old.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 32. Hang on, wait. 32 is too old, and yet a 23-year-old playing a 16-year-old is fine.
But dude, I mean, and even still, so what if he was getting old? He still looked young enough.
Okay, so he knows at least a few words of Japanese. Yeah. Aren't you just riveted by Lucas Black's acting in this film, Jova?
Sure, Roy, I'm gonna pass that one off to you.
He's about as wooden as this table I'm banging right now.
Like, is that his actual...
He's pretty flat, like, with his delivery, honestly.
Like, is that his actual accent, that southern accent? Or is he just putting that on for the movie?
He is actually from Alabama.
Ah, okay then. Ah, yes, this is going to be our main antagonist, DK. I kind of like him better than the main protagonist. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's as cookie cutter as you can get for high school teen antagonists. Let's just say he's more interesting than our main protagonist. You don't know what gaijin means. Wow.
Takashi, the Drift King, played by let me get his name up. Jbiome Takata, or his stage name, Brian T.
Interesting. Is he Ben and stuff?
Film of Dick and Jane, Austin.
Oh, snap! But Justin Timberlake of Japan. That's an insult, I guess?
Oh, and he was in The Wolverine.
Wow.
He was also in Jurassic World and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Not a bad resume.
Where he played the Shredder.
Yeah, I liked Out of the Shadows.
Well, unfortunately, we're not getting another one after that, at least not in that particular continuity, because...
Yeah, well, at least it was a good way to go out.
2 movies in, though. I mean, nowadays, that's kind of considered a bit lame. Okay. Oh, there's I think that was Han there.
Yes! This is Han. Okay, I absolutely love this character. I definitely like him better than the main protagonist. Huh?
You're going to be in the next few movies.
Yeah, something special about that.
What, this guy with the longer hair?
Sure, let me put it like this. The movie should have been about him. That's all I'm gonna say. Huh, Donkey Kong reference.
Well, I mean, his answer wasn't wrong. In this context, he was wrong, but...
Okay, so here's the big gimmick. The thing you've never seen before. Drifting.
This time the movie's almost all about the drifting.
I mean... Maybe
it's almost like it's in the title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to well, at least one thing for a couple of us to keep a lookout, because there's apparently references to Lion Maru G, Kamen Rider Kabuto, whatever that is, and Sailor Moon.
Kamen Rider. That's one of Japan's babies when it comes to Super Sentai shows. Well, maybe not Sentai shows, but, you know, live-action television, let's call it.
I only watch Power Rangers, so I wouldn't know. well, yeah, okay, I said just do Vega. There's a lot of... Out of those 3 series, I have a different reason for not really recognizing each of them. Lion Maru, because I've never heard of it. Kamen Rider, because I have heard of it. But because even though I have heard of it, it's not exactly... I'm not really sure who else around me has heard of it other than you, Jova. And as for Sailor Moon, historically, the anime has never been a success here in the UK. In fact, as of the day we're recording this, the Viz Media redub hasn't reached here.
Alright, here we go. Get it? We're in Japan, yo!
Wee.
Yeah, he always has that smug smile on his face, like...
And now it's about to get wiped off.
Yeah. Great.
Great no one told me there'd be drifting and drifting!
He's just shit at it. If you're concerned with a car hitting you, why did you have it in such an enclosed space?
I guess they've never dealt with an incompetent drifter before.
Well, again, why do you have it here? There's like... I don't think a multi-story car park is renowned for its space. I mean, look, everyone's leaving.
No, they're going up to see the race end. Wow. Okay, not gonna lie, that shot was pretty cool.
I mean, if nothing else, Justin Lin can do a good shot.
Oh! Is it... You know, the sad thing is that because our protagonist has been acting like kind of a douche nozzle, I'm kind of happy to see him getting smoked by the bad guy. Is it just me?
Crash, bash, boom.
Oh god, crash, boom, and bang.
Yeah.
The one time a Crash Bandicoot game was made entirely by Japan and people hate it.
And it came out the same year this film did.
Maybe it's a sign. Oh, this is cute. He's actually gonna wait for him.
Get out of the way! Up.
That ain't coming out of my paycheck.
Well done. You've smashed your car into walls, pillars, and other cars.
Oh, dang.
I mean, that's the thing. When the guy was supposed to be rooting against has more charisma than the main character was supposed to be rooting for.
Yeah, sure.
And out of universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a problem.
Sure. Out of these two characters, who are you rooting for?
I mean... I don't really care either way at the moment because I don't really care for our protagonist, and this guy hasn't been around long enough for me to.
Fair enough. It kind of does say a bit, though, about how the movie has skewed priorities.
Oh, yeah, this guy we saw sucks.
Oh.
His father is so gonna yell.
Are you implying that his father's gonna find out he broke the rules like any cliched movie? Wah, wah, wah. Don't leave town or I'll find you.
I'm stuck here anyway, so... Okay, maybe if I do it really sneakily... Oh.
Oops.
The dog is mad at you.
No.
I was,
Just stare intensely, I guess. And you can't possibly make it all by your own out on the city. My God, he is so bland.
Who, the father?
No, the son, though the father's
Oh,
not too much better.
Yeah, I mean, so far I got from it is, "Grr, I'm angry," or I'm so miserable.
Or, oh, I'm not that good a dad because I didn't pick you up when I should have. What are these emotions I need to be feeling? Oh, don't you see that? Everyone in school goes to those drift parties, which means he is now the laughing stock. Just like any anime.
Funny, I don't ever remember watching the anime where all the students were into cars drifting.
Maybe this is just that new one we missed.
Yeah, maybe I just missed that one. Anyway, the actor's name playing the father is a guy named Brian Goodman, who's been in films like Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, that. Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
A lot of other films I've never heard of. Oh, he was in Munich.
Never heard of that one.
24. Mostly his TV work. He's been in 24, CSI.
So, like Lucas Black, I guess his strengths are better to television?
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
Ah, yes, the public bathhouse. That's a thing in Japan.
I think is that a sumo wrestler?
Well, maybe. Yep, there you go. He's got the claw. There's a shot for everyone. Oh! Isn't it nice that he dressed him just to throw him out?
Yeah, that's very considerate of him.
See, if this were back in America, he would have been thrown out in his birthday suit.
Yeah, at least even when Japanese people throw you out,
Yeah.
it's courteous enough to give you your clothes back.
It is proper honor.
Wow.
Sorry, Japanese people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will have Jova thoroughly verbally slapped off screen.
Well, I guess even the Japanese know how irresistible Beyonce is. Pachinko, a video gamer's worst enemy.
Well, unless the series can either be easily adapted to Pachinko, or was Pachinko to begin with.
A video game series that started off as Pachinko, huh?
Then I'm guessing to gamers is just kind of, there.
I've never known a video game series that started off as Pachinko. That would be interesting.
But now we're getting into the seedy, behind-the-scenes world of these casinos.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
I'll be right back. Just getting some stuff.
Ooh, now it's on. Alright, time to make the little cover for, extracurricular activities.
The dad probably won't buy any of this.
Would it enrage you if I told you that he doesn't have to deal with his dad for quite some time in the movie now? Whoopsie. Of course, as Mary Poppins has taught us, it's always about the cover but not the book. Yeah, that song wasn't really that memorable.
That's the only line I remember.
Yeah.
Again, even the songs that I like significantly less from the original Mary Poppins, I actually remember several lines from.
I know, right? But...
And that's not to say the songs are bad, like they're not. That soundtrack is amazing. It's just like the fact that I can remember even those songs is like, wow. I can't remember any of the songs from the second movie.
Yeah, which is kind of a cardinal sin for a Disney movie, and especially for Mary
A
Poppins.
musical.
Yeah. I race for true honor. You're DK's kryptonite. Uh-huh, you've only raced him once where he smoked you, but you are totally his kryptonite. Am I missing something here, Shiroi? Like, you see what I mean when I say Han should have been the protagonist, but we'll get even more into that later. For now... Oh boy.
Well, you said he's gonna be in a few more movies. What about our actual protagonist? How many movies is he actually in?
He's in this, and he's a guest cameo in 7, I do believe.
Alright then.
Let's just say Han's gonna be in a lot more. In fact, Han was one of the best received things about this movie.
So why is he helping our protagonist again exactly?
Because he likes him, you know, he sees potential in him, and, you know, not your usual cookie cutter story. Oh goody, time for some of that Japanese randomness I was telling you about. It'll be coming up soon.
Huh.
Hello, lesbians. Or bisexuals. Is this not the first thing you think of when you think of Japan, Shiroi?
Okay, I'm back now. Whoa.
Well, I've never been to a Japanese club, so I wouldn't actually know.
Basically, dudes, me and Shiroi were trying to figure out how exactly is our protagonist to your DK's kryptonite, as Han put it, even though DK smoked him the first time. Any ideas?
Well, you see, Jova.
Yes?
Maybe the sight of a man or woman wrecking a lot of perfectly good cars, whether they're driving them or not, would put them off the next time they race them. Because would you want to race against a guy who could wreck your stuff even when he's not in your car?
I guess not. I guess the only problem with that theory is that even still DK smoked him. In fact, if anything, he seemed to relish the fact that he was screwing up that badly. And
well, here's the thing about Chris Morgan's scripts. Even in the better Fast and Furious movies, there are still a few things that don't really add up.
Yeah, like, again, I think the problem here is, like, well, when you get down to it, Han should have been the main protagonist. Especially with Lucas even asking him why he doesn't race himself. It's like, honestly, that's only because it feels like Lucas is what TV tropes would call the designated hero. Because let's be quite honest, Han is better than him. Han races better than him. Han is quite possibly a better person than he is, even though Han is technically a gangster. Ah, yes. Welcome to Hans's crib, baby.
Hey, my name's Han. Welcome to my crib. Thought that was my dogs whining for a second, but no, it's the...
Oh yeah, Hyundais suck.
Hey, I've got a Hyundai.
No, wait, you have a Hyundai?
Yeah.
Oh, also, it's pronounced Hyundai, Dwibs, not Hyundai.
It's Hyundai.
Maybe we're thinking of different car companies then. Alright, I love this line coming up because it gets immediately contradicted. Well, not the next one, I think, but there's a line Han says. But yes, it's time for training of our hero. I feel awkward calling him that.
Well, I mean, you have Undyne, who's also blind in one eye. She's pretty good at aiming.
Yeah. And if she has both eyes intact, she'd make for a pretty good police cop, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, hey, he's back home on time.
Yeah, that's right, Sherry. His father totally bought the whole extracurricular activities excuse. Well, oh goody, backstory about Car. Never seen this before.
Yep, they said it.
Is that all we have to say about it?
Yeah. Oh.
If I didn't know better, I'd say that's a fitting metaphor for something.
This film amongst the rest of the series?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, okay. My problem with this movie is that maybe the plot is kind of like the first movie. Guy who is we follow a guy who is a bit cocky to start off with, in shades of Dom in the first movie, and yet he has to learn to be, well, better. Not just, well, at driving mainly. Problem is, this guy is he's not Vin Diesel. I'll say that much.
I mean, Dominic Toretto, even though he was technically the bad guy in some sense, not the main bad guy, but he was a criminal. He still had a level of charisma. Lucas Black is, well, yeah, he's pretty much a street criminal here, who I guess we're supposed to feel good for because look at that, he's protecting his friends here. Scene? Well, that happened.
You just saved your ass.
That isn't really constructive.
I guess that's to show that she's opening
That's
up to
relatively unhelpful.
Imagine getting that on like your test. You get
You're
get like
doing
a C,
just fine.
You get a C plus, and then on the bottom where it gives comments, it says, "You're doing all right."
You tried.
Like, the idea is to encourage people while also encouraging them to do better. Oh, hi, Samsung. Now, let's go up for a good game of football, as Europe calls it.
On the roof of a building.
As how everyone but America calls it, Jova.
Yeah, I really don't get why we don't just call it football and call our football soccer.
Wanker.
What?
I guess there's someone British.
The word wanker.
I guess there's someone British amongst the crowd.
Either that or sometimes, because of the lack of understanding of English slang and swear words, sometimes you can find some shirts with questionable text on them, shall we say.
Why am I not surprised?
So yeah, Han's on the run. See, this guy, both in terms of character and acting, has much more charisma and on-screen presence than our main
Yeah.
lead.
He's got goals, he's got ambitions, he's got a plot to follow. Something that our protagonist is sorely lacking here. Like, okay, yeah, he owes Han for wrecking his car, but I still have to wonder, what did Han even see in him from the get-go? Oh, what, that he mouthed off to DK and was all cocky or whatnot? I guess because the new guy isn't corrupted by the viewpoint.
Oh, yeah. So wait, are we going Shibuya or?
Now Han can show what he can do.
Yeah, I could do a donut drift. Yeah. Well, I know this film's called. Well, obviously that's part of the title. Well done, you've caused a giant circle scar in a Tokyo street. This is the thing.
Hey,
you haven't really seen...
Oh, cute.
I'm glad the music isn't anything overly Japanese stereotypical, but we haven't really seen actually,
Oh, wait, I love this bit. It's no wax on, wax off. Okay, so let's see how the training actually goes.
Also, I'll be quite honest.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't really feel like it has to take place in Tokyo, really.
What are you saying? I mean, isn't Tokyo all about drifting?
I mean, you could have set this anywhere, and it wouldn't really have made that much of a difference.
Is drifting like a thing that's incredibly big in Japan?
I mean, hell, some of the drifting scenes weren't even filmed in Tokyo. They filmed it in a parking lot in a mall in Los Angeles.
Okay. That's weird.
They couldn't get... There were some difficulties getting permits in Tokyo to do the drifting.
Totally not wax on, wax off. Yay, we made a sale! What was the point of that scene?
To show he really likes money and shoes.
Hey, Shuri, can we go back to Han's story? I think we put on the wrong one by accident.
Well, she's birds right now, so...
Oh, don't you see? The fishermen have now accepted that he's not that bad.
Woo?
I feel so accomplished right now. Like, is it just me or does Lucas Black just feel out of place amongst the cast here? Oh boy, here we go. A big...
What I miss?
Him learning to drive the car. Also, here comes a big pivotal scene with his father that will surely send you into tears. He left. Remember how his father said that he wouldn't be able to make it on his own? Well, it turns out now he's found a place to stay, apparently.
okay. If you're a drifting fan, I gather you'll like this movie a bit, and I don't mind drifting, but
When
I
drifting
think
is all
more
there is to
racing.
it, though.
I think racing's more of a thing you can pitch a whole movie around, as opposed to just one specific part of a race.
I mean, it's like the previous Fast and Furious movies had drifting anyway. Like, again, maybe I'm uncultured, but is Japan really this big on Tokyo drifting or, drifting in general?
I have no idea.
And even still, I mean, I can see why one would be bored, though. I mean, I go, again, yeah, it's a movie about one part of the race, but, there's very little of anything else. It's not to say they don't have some straight... Oh, by the way, the race with that guy. It happened. Partially off screen. Okay.
Well, I guess it was short, so...
I was kind of under the impression, though, that they wanted to show us off more of the racing, though. Dwibs?
What can I tell you?
Well, you're usually the one who doesn't care for off-screen stuff. How do you think they handled it here?
Typical. Underwhelming.
So, this movie in general?
Yeah. I mean, hell, I mentioned some extreme Dawson casting in this movie earlier.
Yes.
The guy playing the villain, Takeshi, Brian T, was 29.
How old's he supposed to be in this movie?
I guess a lot younger than 29.
I guess, to be fair, he actually looks younger somewhat.
It's like one of those characters in I think someone in Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home was like 30 odd when he played a high schooler.
Huh, really? Was that the Flash Thompson's? Wouldn't that be funny if that was also Flash Thompson's actor in that case?
I think it was, yeah.
Wow. I mean, to be fair, Tom Holland is actually way older than a high schooler, but he looks so freaking young.
Oh my god, guys. Maybe he's learning to take responsibility for his actions?
It only took him... Okay, I get that there are some heroes who do have to take a time to learn it, but normally those heroes have other good qualities. Sure, what are the good qualities of our protagonist aside from... he can drive?
Not really any, 'cause he's not really all that interesting. The interesting people are the people he's hanging out with.
Jovo, he can barely... Jovo, what are you talking about? He can't drive. He keeps bashing into things.
Well, he can't drift, but he can drive otherwise good, apparently.
This movie is just here to taunt CTR players.
I know, right?
Mario
I'm really bad at the drifting in that.
Oh, did you pick up Nitro Field?
Yes. I've had it since day one, but I didn't stop playing it until a bit later.
PS4 version?
Yes. And mostly because of the save file issues.
Oh god, that issue.
I wanted to wait until those were dealt with.
Mm-hmm. I'm at the point where I've managed to unlike Digital Entropy, which was a head-slammingly hard time beating those Oxide time trials. Also, I got 101 and I have 101% save file. And I just realized me talking about my accomplishments in CTR is more interesting than this movie.
I know. Because
See.
I'll probably never be able to complete that much of it.
Oh, you think that's tough? Now I'm just working on getting the platinum for the relic races, and then I should have all those bragging right accomplishments under my belt.
Oh, hi, PSP. these guys?
Let me guess. DK.
Donkey Kong?
Drift King. Oh!
Well, that was random.
Stay away from my girl. Wow, okay. Now, I could see if Nally considered him as kryptonite, but, I mean, okay, so now...
Is that because you were hanging out with quote-unquote his girl?
Yeah.
So the matches wouldn't work then?
Tuh.
Oh, and look at that. Punching the guy in the face broke off the relationship anyway.
Whoopsie.
And also, it seems that he had more than one girl.
Uh-huh.
I guess Gaijin means foreign exchange.
Gaijin Gaijin means foreigner, outsider in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe insulting you will get you to stay with me. That always seems to work. Oh, wait.
Looks like he touched a nerve.
Yeah.
Well, she touched a nerve, rather.
Oh no. There's a conflict, I guess.
Also, manipulation and abuse. Yeah, that's gonna win her back. Also, I mean, you're doing great. You're doing great, DK. You're doing great. Back to my cider.
TK, Shiri, this isn't Digimon.
Well,
They said his name DK.
yeah, DK.
I thought you said TK.
No, I said DK.
Oh, meanwhile, back in the arcade.
Oh boy, here we go. As you recall, it was mentioned that DK's grandfather or father, whichever it is,
Has influence.
yes, Yakuza influence.
Oh.
Yeah, because we can't have a film in Japan without having...
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. A American-made movie that's set in Japan.
That's more accurate.
Funny thing about the Yakuza is that, believe it or not...
Wait, it's his uncle.
Oh, his uncle.
Okay, for the scenes where they're speaking Japanese, do you guys have subtitles?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You do too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've had subs on throughout the movie, actually.
Mm-hmm. Same. Uh-oh.
Okay, at the very least, it's not like a lot of other movies where characters that that are of a foreign nationality are just randomly speaking English to each other.
Yeah, there actually is some context to it here. So yeah, it turns out his business partner, Han, may have been stealing under from them. He moved the numbers just enough so that he could get a little bit. And for
Yeah, I
once of
get
a
what he means.
war, the battle was lost. I forget what I was going with here.
Basically, he was saying, if we allow such a seemingly minor thing like this to go on, it's going to spiral out of control and ruin us.
Yeah. You know, interesting fun fact about the Yakuza. Believe it or not, in real life, the police actually sometimes consider the Yakuza necessary to keep the peace. In fact, believe it or not, the whole honor thing about Yakuza thing actually is about a truth in television. See, unlike
I need some. Sorry, go ahead.
See, unlike stuff like the Mafia or whatnot, the Yakuza actually do properly keep the peace here and there, and to some Yakuza it is considered a disgrace to attack innocents in an otherwise, innocent part of hometown.
Yeah, that's what I've been told too, and yeah, some confirmation may be needed, but from what I've been told, essentially pretty much the same as Jover. It's like, unless you're, really disruptive to the country and everything, they'll leave you alone and things, because
Yeah.
they're not like the mafia in the traditional Hollywood sense.
Mm-hmm. Like, weird or not, sometimes Yakuza are more responsible for keeping the peace in their own governed places. And speaking of which, yeah, DK ain't too happy to figure out Han's been spewing money from him. Like Han said, it's what they do. Unfortunately, DK is not exactly going to take that lying down.
Is that really going to help?
Oh,
I mean, see, look, even the cars gotten jammed in there now.
well, that was done on purpose, I think.
Yeah. To be fair, those are the bad guys' cars.
What's that gonna do though? Make a little tiny dent in it?
Block them.
Yeah.
Those things are heavy.
Let's see. Man versus car. Who will win? Well, I guess the car does. He's dead.
See, that one got through the door.
At the very
I think
least,
the roof was lower.
True, yeah. At the very least, though, it gave him a good head start.
It also dented the car, at least.
Yeah, speaking of Japan, though, I think
Yeah.
I think we might, if we're able to, maybe we could do another anime at some point.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Problem is which one though, and have to make sure it's either on Netflix or Funimation Now or any place that does legally show it.
I think Danganronpa, maybe. Of course, we probably will want to cover the game first.
We're taking turns.
Yeah.
Like me and Paige are on Uncharted, we each do alternate games. So by that, you'd be doing the first one.
You'd be doing the second one, and I guess...
You'd be doing alternate Spare Girls.
And you'll handle the most controversial one in the franchise.
All of them. Each one has its own controversy, but yeah, no, it's FIFA.
Oh boy.
So while this is going on, I mean, it is a chase scene, but it's nothing really we haven't seen.
Oh wait, something notable is about to happen, because DK's main man is dead now. Oh, now it's personal. His best friend was killed.
I'll be honest though, I've been played quite a bit more of the first one. I've come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
All the characters are dicks.
No
Varying degrees. You know what? Fuck all of them.
Oh wait, Dwibs, I do believe we're about to get to a pivotal, the most pivotal scene of this movie. Ain't that right?
Yeah, I guess.
Just watch out for angry Britishmen on the road.
Jova?
Yes.
We haven't retconned that yet.
But Dwibs, it totally happened. Yeah.
We haven't retconned that into the story yet.
We Brits are all about that road rage, though.
Oh, Shiroy, just wait till a certain movie.
Okay.
We haven't got there yet.
Although, it will be very relevant. Mark my words. See, now look at this. Proper high-speed driving. Not everything needs to be... Oh, drifting moment. Okay. So, for some reason, I kid you not, the crowd opens up just the right way for a drifting maneuver.
But he's barely been learning how to drift for just a few days.
And now he has mastered it.
Yeah,
what a convenient way to open up the path, though.
I know, right? I guess Japan really does love their drifting.
Yeah, they train themselves for just that exact specific moment.
Speaking of drifting, fun fact, folks, I've actually been commentating on this while playing Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Don't worry, I've managed to give both my attention, as you've noticed. I figured it would be nice and in character considering how much this movie loves drifting.
And that game has a lot of emphasis on the drifting.
Yep. Drift boost mechanic B for the win, yo.
Okay. For the most part, the action's shot alright, but it's these
Han! No! You're the best thing of the movie! You can't die on us!
Oh, crap.
You know, you probably shouldn't have said that he's in more movies.
They're prequels.
Oh.
Don't worry, guys. I'm sure he'll make it out just fine. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, crap.
Probably not a good time to mention, Shiroi. We open the 7th movie with his funeral.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. It was just a freak accident.
Basically, Shiroi, Han was widely considered the best thing about this movie. So needless to say, it didn't exactly help the reception when he, kicked the bucket.
Is this the part where the movie goes to shit?
But don't.
Yes.
But Jova, don't worry. It was just an accident.
Totally.
Because honestly, this is probably like a bit of a controversial opinion, but up to this point, I actually like this one more than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Really?
Yeah, I'll explain more later, but yeah.
Does it have to do with Han?
Gio, you dare make an opinion that's contrary to the rest of us?
I dare.
You must be.
Welcome to the club, then,
unpopular
Ranger.
opinion. No, basically, I mean, there's a lot more going on in this movie. The characters are a lot.
Okay.
You know, the second movie was just kind of there.
Alright.
What I like about this movie, I liked more than what I liked about the second movie.
Huh, interesting. Well, it's like I said, I mean, it's not like this movie is god-awful or anything. I mean, it's
I can see why people don't like it, though.
Oh, curious to know your notes.
Well, I mean, comparing it to the first one, it's just nowhere near as good.
Oh, true that.
Okay. All right. So basically, I'll explain what happened. I mean, there's not really
Sure,
much
sure.
spoiling later on. This movie officially treats Han's death as a freak accident.
Uh-huh.
Let me guess,
Later
it was
movies-
calculated.
Yeah. We'll find out a bit later on. But yeah, the dad's too concerned for his son's safety, so he's gonna get him out of Japan.
But what does his son have to say about this? I'm responsible. He's taking responsibility. What a hell of
Now's
a
a
time to
bad-
I
take
want to
it.
sort this out myself.
I was gonna say, now's a pretty awkward time to take responsibility.
Especially since when you get down to this, wasn't this actually more so Hans's fault? Like, the main reason DK came and crashed the place was because of Hans stealing money from him, so I guess Lucas sees this as his responsibility because he wants to save... Shoot, I forget. What's the girl's name?
Girl.
Shiroi, do you recall her name?
I forget.
Oops. Not exactly memorable. But yeah, I guess his dad was easily won over by the whole "it's my responsibility" thing. It's like, you'd think as a father he would maybe fight a bit more to have his son sent back for his safety.
By the way, I saw this bold British guy walk away from the scene, even though during the shots just then, we never actually see anyone walking past with holding a phone to their ear.
Does he use the same car, at least?
Apparently, but again, we haven't seen anyone looking like Jason Statham walking past with a phone on his ear.
But he was totally there all along.
So, oops. Yeah, okay. This series' continuity is almost as bad as the X-Men films could get. And I say that as a fan of most of the X-Men.
I guess to be fair, with this series, it's just that one big retcon.
A character?
A plot motivation. A better script. I guess I can see why somebody might like... Oh.
It's charisma. That'll make it better. Oh. Brown bag.
The money. Ah. You know, I had to wonder though, what was the mentality of even killing Hans's character? Like in the first place, honestly.
So we could totally retroactively retcon the cause of it to show it was deliberate. That was our intention all along, don't you?
Totally. What do you think, Shiroi?
Could you repeat that?
Do you think Han's death was worth it?
I mean...
And it was all just to show that we were gonna deliberately retcon it later on.
Totally.
Not
Wait,
not
what?
his death. I mean, not his death. I mean, he does stay dead. It's just I mean, how it's just how it happened. Accident to deliberate.
Wait,
true.
is that retcon though? Because people think it's an accident, but considering everything that led up to it, it's pretty clear that it was deliberate.
Basically, Shiroi, in here, it's supposedly an accident. Yes, they're actually expecting you to take it like that. It wouldn't be until film 7, well, technically film 6.
The very end of film
But I mean,
6.
like, is that the movie fucking up, or are they deliberately telling the characters this because Yakuza involvement?
Okay, believe it or not, the Yakuza have nothing to do with Hans's death. It's actually just a Britishman.
Well, fuck it, I retract my statement.
Yeah.
Okay, granted that Britishman's Jason Statham, but he's not in the series yet, so
Basically, okay, here's the lowdown, Shiroi. They killed off Han, and that was a move that didn't sit right with a lot of people. So in order to bring Han back, they had movies 4, 5, and 6 take place in between 2 and 7. 7 was when they finally actually went back to the present time, and it opens up with Han's
So 7 is
funeral.
technically 4.
Yeah.
Continuity
Here's how it goes. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8. Hobbs and Shaw.
Yep. I had to say, it was kind of bold for them to eventually go to the continuity where Han was dead. Maybe he was just done with the film franchise or something. I guess it does have sort of the potential help that, you know... Well, I guess to be fair, though, it does kind of take away some of the stakes since you know certain characters are going to make it out fine. But hey, at least we got to see more of Han.
A race. Even he's laughing how silly it is.
It's even more silly. He actually accepts this. Man to man, machine to machine.
How do Yakuza normally settle issues like this?
They are very creative.
And yeah, the loser has to leave. Yeah,
crime scene, yeah. Nice of them to include it in English.
I'm guessing tourism from English-speaking countries is popular over there.
Oh, I would not be surprised if it is. It is flipping Tokyo, after all.
When I was there, there were a lot of Europeans and Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Any Brits?
Not really. The only time I heard any British accents was when I was walking through one of the more business-centric areas of Tokyo.
Oh, look at that.
They were expats, basically. British expats.
Look at that, guys. It's the car that he wrecked in the start. That's the one car not taken by the police. But it's got its engine intact. So I guess it's a good thing he wrecked the car? And now he and his dad can do some bonding. And I do believe this is the last time we ever see his father in this movie. Yeah, son.
Yeah, have my beat-up piece of shit car.
Which we are now going to put together to make better, faster, harder, stronger. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Hi, Nissan.
Okay.
Hi, Hulk. That was weird. Oh, right, Universal owned the rights to the Incredible Hulk at the time. Well, they still do. So there you go, guys. Now this is officially part of the MCU.
Yeah, sure.
Only one who's ever made it to the bottom. Add that to the cliche list.
I would, Jova, but I ran out of paper.
True. Again, I don't have anything against cliches, but when they are so blatantly obvious and dull like they are in this movie, we may have a bit of a problem. That said, though, rewatching this, I can see where you're coming from, Shuri. It's definitely maybe not as bad as I remembered it. Don't get me wrong, it's still, in my opinion, the weakest, but I can see what you mean in it not being necessarily completely an abomination.
I just think it's dull. That's the...
My major issue is, again, I think that we really could have done with a better main protagonist.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just that, like, this one is a lot less boring than the second movie.
I guess. Yeah, I'll definitely say that if there's one thing this movie is that it's not too boring. It does have some of those stilted moments, but I guess not as much. I still like 2 better because I feel like 2 at least had a much better focus and plot. Whereas this would be better if, again, the protagonist was actually charismatic. Oh yeah, it's the big race. Raven the Yakuza come. Hello, fellow youngling. Ready to go down the CGI mountain?
No.
Well, too bad, because we're about to go rip-roaring for the artistry scene. Fast and Furious movies do love their CGI.
Remember, son, drifting is all in your chi.
I know, Daddy.
Oh, I wasn't in your head. I was talking over your phone. You didn't disconnect the call.
Right, Daddy. I should probably disconnect it though so I can focus now.
Alright, see you later for dinner.
Yeah, we'll do lunch after this after I totally win.
Okay, bye.
Should I have told him that I'm going down a hill where apparently nobody else but this guy survived?
So you still haven't hung up.
I love you, Daddy! Okay, won't lie, this final race actually does make the drifting a more exciting here. Again, I don't mind that drifting was the main... Huh? What was that, dude?
Problem is, I don't really care about... Problem is, though, I don't really care about anybody.
What are you talking about? I mean, there's, okay, I don't care for the protagonist. There's, the girl,
What's her name? And don't look at Wikipedia.
I got nothing.
What about the villain?
DK? God, I actually remember his name more than her. Well, I mean, at this point, I guess we can actually dislike him, even though he kind of got taken advantage of by Han and was kind of rightfully pissed about that. Awkward.
Not enough to murder him, though. Oh, wait, no, he didn't, did he?
Yeah, he actually wasn't the one who murdered him.
It would have made more sense.
It really
well,
is.
Well, we do get a reason for why that happened.
I mean, it would have been an overreaction, sure, but it would have made more sense.
Yeah. Uh-oh, and now DK's the one messing up.
It's his pride.
Isn't he supposed to be experienced?
Oh, the music here is definitely good.
Well, it's done by Brian Tyler.
Oh, woohoo, we got a winner then.
That's enough.
Who, since this movie, composed for all the future movies except Fast and Furious 6 and Hobbs and Shaw.
Huh. You were saying something, Shure?
Yeah, that's another thing. The music in this movie compared to the second one is like the first movie in the sense that it has some variety in there.
Agreed.
At the appropriate times as well.
By the way, Jover, I found that animated show that you mentioned last time.
About Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
Oh, it's out now?
Well, no, but we know what it's called and what it's going to be about.
Okay.
It's called Fast and Furious Spy Racers.
Oh, yeah.
Is this an anime or just an animated show?
Animated show.
Apparently it's about Dom's cousin working for the government or something.
And unlike Cars 2, this series has done that before, so it's no less silly than the rest of the series.
Also, did someone just die back there? Did someone, like, just drive off the cliff?
Thankfully not yet, it seems.
I mean, it looked like there was...
Yeah, I
the
get
shot
what you
was
mean.
weird.
It was.
Some of this editing isn't really all that good.
Yeah, that was one of the main critiques of this movie, the action and editing.
It is a bit, erratic, that's the word.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it's racing, but...
There's a time and a place to be erratic.
So yeah, that's funny though. DreamWorks making something Fast and Furious related.
Imagine. And again, DreamWorks seem to be up in that Netflix business. Oh no. Well, snap. There you go, now he actually fell off.
What do we do?
Oh yeah, he is now awesome.
Still a bad actor though.
Yeah. Don't worry, Dibs, he's not gonna be in this franchise for long.
And you said he's only a cameo at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there.
So, I just smoked your nephew. No hard feelings, I hope. Oh god, the staring! It's infectious! Yay!
This is awkward.
They're free to go. And I guess that means his nephew now has to leave town.
Yeah. Guess.
Mena agrees.
Yes.
I was telling him that.
But fear not, folks. Not all is not lost. For even if you didn't have a good time with this movie, we have a little surprise for you.
What?
Yay! Sean's the new DK!
There's a guy. As long as you can't see, right? Because this bit's actually.
Sure.
Yep. This is what a lot of people consider to be the best part of the movie.
The end.
Not just because
We get
it's
to
the end.
leave.
Oh yeah, this is the I think of when they mention family a lot in this series.
Do your best Danny Dyer impression.
Or that they say family a lot.
He was in EastEnders and he was boss. So yeah, he said family a lot.
Yeah.
So let's see who this new racer is. It's someone in an American muscle car.
It's
Well.
Oh, hey there.
it's Vin Diesel.
So,
And you
Vin...
look so pleased to be here.
That's right. Vin here, Dominic here, knew Han. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Interesting reference to the first movie. I gotta wonder, so okay, you get this new cast, yet you clearly establish that it's in the same universe as Fast and Furious. What was the point?
And Vin Diesel shows up at the end.
Yeah. I'll ask more about this.
Interesting payment method they have for Vin Diesel here, though. Instead of money, he agreed to cameo so that he could get the rights to the Riddick films from Universal.
Because those were oh so much worth it, were they?
Interesting trade-off.
Well, the name, Riddick, the film called just Riddick, released like a few years after this was alright.
Ah. And that was Tokyo Drift.
Pausing it here, there's no post-credit scene.
Alright.
Shiroi, how about you go first, since you seem to have a pretty good time with this movie? Wow, I mean, better than...
relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great or anything, but I definitely found it far more enjoyable than the second movie. I mean, again, the aside from the characters being more interesting, there's also the fact that the second movie had quite a lot more dead air. Like, in between scenes, there was a lot of that, where just next to nothing was actually happening. And that's what killed a lot of that for me. Then there's also the fact that despite how by the numbers the first movie was for the kind of plot it was doing, this one was just kind of there. Sorry, the second movie, I mean. It was just there, and like, I had a much more interesting time with this. I mean, I actually don't think this movie needed to be as long as it actually was, because some of the races they did were filler, I guess. Like, some of the little ones that, I don't know, from the crowd shots we were apparently supposed to care more about, but, you know, honestly, they kind of didn't really need to be there. But, again, there was a lot less dead air. The characters are more enjoyable. Again, they're not amazing, but they're, you know, something. The soundtrack is more diverse, like the first movie, and yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, I again, it's controversial, but I don't think this one is as bad as the second movie. I guess maybe this movie, like, to some people has, because the second movie was so safe, I guess you could say this movie has more problems. Like, my only big problem with this movie is what you've been telling me about the fact that the Yakuza were not involved in Han's death, because even though, again, that would have been an overreaction, that would have made a lot more sense than what's apparently happened. Like, that's just baffling to me.
But we need more wiggle room to retcon. I mean,
yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, but again, that's the only thing that's actually, you know, bothered me about this, honestly. The rest of this was just fine.
I get where you're coming from.
So,
it's sort of like my question, and what was the point of killing off Han? Like, were they planning to make Lucas Black the new face of the series or something?
Like, flopped, so...
yeah.
well, I guess they throw well, people do die in this franchise, so I guess, you know, you throw a likable character our way, and you know, that should be a red flag.
It
so,
probably
you know,
doesn't help that Han was the thing people liked the most about this movie.
And also,
yeah, I guess that would have soured a lot of people. I get that.
I don't think it helps either that you've spent the whole runtime of this movie trying to build up your new main lead, and yet Vin Diesel shows up at the very end. Immediately making me wish that I was watching the first film.
Yeah.
Also, again, they put so much focus on Han that, yeah, I totally get why that scene would have ticked a lot of people off.
I mean, when you get down to it, Han feels like he's closer to being the main protagonist because we get to know more about him. I mean, sure, we know all we need to know about Lucas, but all the same, it doesn't feel like you can really empathize with Lucas as much. I mean, he just smirks at everything that comes his way. But yeah.
He barely does that, so...
Or is like the most robotic Alabama I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Sorry. Now that you've reminded me, because wow, like he left such little impression that I even forgot to be mad about him. Our protagonist is boring.
I think that's part of why I consider this the weakest. It's like, well, it's because of its main protagonist. It's like, I mean, maybe it's a petty reason, but like, well, again, a lot of times the protagonist is like the main attraction of stuff.
Heck, even though he wasn't as he wasn't as prominent, like he's a secondary character basically. Like even the friend of our protagonist, the one played by Little Bow Wow, even he's a lot more
endearing,
involved,
charismatic.
you know?
Yeah, true, involved too. It's like, heck, even he would have been a more interesting character. Like, I get what they're trying to do. Make the main protagonist be the straight man to everyone, but he just comes off as dull. Phoenix Wright, he is not.
Yeah, like it's a straight man done, you know, pretty badly.
Should have called him Pigeon Wrong.
That's for aviary attorney. Anyway, that's it from me. But again, like I enjoyed it more than the second movie, but I'd say the first one is still the best so far.
Without a doubt. All right, I'll go
Whoever's
next. I'll go next then. I want to open up my final thoughts by asking this. Movie. Okay, so you are apparently going with a completely different direction. That's all fine and well. So tell me, why do you kill off the best thing of your movie? And why do you at the last minute, and I mean the very last minute, connect it to the main universe of Fast and Furious? Like, I mean, sure, Vin Diesel's popular and all, but I just have to wonder, what was the point? Like, you know, usually...
It's called Fast and Furious.
I mean, back in the day, wasn't this supposed to be a reboot from what a lot of people thought before they actually saw the movie?
I mean, I'm not sure.
It was just it wasn't the same universe. We're just following a different cast of characters.
True, yeah. I mean, it's not the worst thing. I mean, I've seen other franchises do it. It's like with here, though, it feels so lopsided and weird. Maybe it's because I know what the future movies will do later that it feels awkward, but I don't know. Something about it just feels like it kind of, like you yourself said, Dwibs, it kind of undermines the point of the movie, considering how, you know, Dominic Toretto is kind of more favorable as a protagonist.
And who will go on to be the main protagonist, well, for the rest of the series, pretty much, except Hobbs and Shaw.
Again, and I really do have to wonder, though, again, what was the point of killing Han? Again, maybe they really wanted to push Lucas, and maybe the script read out better, but I think that's just the thing that really baffles me the most about this movie. It's a story where everyone except the main protagonist is, at the very least, interesting. The problem is that the main protagonist is the one driving the plot a lot. And he doesn't do it the best. The music is fine. The set design is good. The camera work, for the most part, is good, but it has a lot of those erratic camera moments, which can be distracting. As to the racing itself, it's not terrible. Though I will admit, it does get a bit dull when we focus mainly on just drifting for a bit compared to, you know, the other movies, which had drifting, but other stuff in them. Otherwise, I guess this movie surprisingly isn't as bad as my first watch. Again, maybe it was because I'd seen Fast and Furious 1 and then immediately going to this, the decrease in quality felt very, very, very bad. But, it's not one of the worst movies ever. It's definitely the weakest Fast and Furious movie to me, though. Like, even though it may have more excitement than Too Fast, Too Furious, but I feel like Too Fast, Too Furious still had a much better consistent tone of quality and had a better focus on its plot. Yeah, I think my major issue with this one is that it does feel like it has a lack of focus on its plot, as Gibbs pointed out earlier. Other than that, it's a fine movie. If you're completely new to the franchise, you might still get some fun out of it. Especially if you like the zany, wacky, random stuff that is from Fast and Furious. It's definitely a Fast and Furious movie, that's for sure. It's just, in my opinion, the weakest one. Alright then, Dweebs, close us out with your final thoughts.
Yeah, my main problems with this movie and why I consider it to be the worst one out of the bunch, well, it's simple really. The main protagonist is boring, and when the main protagonist is boring, that it pretty much is a huge negative in my opinion. I mean, it's not even like Mad Max, where I mean, in that film at least, yeah, Mad Max felt the whole point was to make Max feel like the passenger having to go for a wacky adventure.
Yeah.
This guy actually helps get the plot in motion, and he's about as interesting as, well, that table I knocked on earlier to demonstrate the same point. Yes. You can knock on it and it's hollow, just like his acting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was bad direction or bad script, but I'm sorry, nothing about his performance here works for me in this movie. Like, I mean, Shuri pointed out good, she forgot about him enough to even get mad about him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like that character out of the Persona 4 fighting games where they're a robot and yet they have a southern accent. Yet this guy, as far as we know, isn't a robot.
I have my suspicions.
This is just something you shouldn't question in fiction. It's like the gens in Steven Universe, they're all from a completely different, well, galaxy in a sense. You've got mostly American accents and Garnet is British. Like,
oh yeah, and
where does that come from?
They speak perfect English, and they just happen to have names that are named after our rocks here down on Earth.
So obviously they're from the planet Zeist.
And they speak fluent English, like even on Homeworld. Like,
again, the planet Zeist.
It's just not to question where accents come from in fiction. It's just a bottomless rabbit hole.
Yeah. And again, I mean, drifting's fine, but I don't think there's something you can really hang a whole movie around, like say a heist or a full-on race, as the previous two movies have done.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of racing in this movie.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
again,
and I guess
focused on the drifting.
I guess they were trying to bring back racing to the forefront, for better or for worse.
There were a lot of drifting shots, though.
True.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, yeah, there's the Yakuza, but honestly, you could replace the Yakuza with some generic mob bunch, and replace Tokyo with, say, London or somewhere, and it wouldn't really make much of a difference, if I'm honest.
I guess you're getting to the point where you have to wonder, did this really need to take place in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's a weird thing. Like, you'd think they would use some more of the more iconic places in Tokyo.
But no, they use a mountain. Those are everywhere. They drive through the city. Again, there's lots of the cities where you could drive through. Did they even use Tokyo Tower or anything like that?
Well, I think the crosswalk where all the people made that very convenient path, I'm pretty sure that's a particularly famous one.
Yeah, there's that, I guess.
We got plenty of them in London, though.
It's more so how many people actually cross there each day.
I guess they just know to always open up for a drift there.
I'm not sure if it was that exact crosswalk, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, and overall, this movie, for all the drifting and all that, it's really dull, if I'm honest. I don't care about the story. I don't care about the characters, except Han. And I mean, I especially don't care about Lucas Black version 2.065-E and his father, the army guy
Navy guy, technically.
Navy guy .6A version 8.
But don't they have such a caring relation? Oh wait, no, he kind of just false on the plot at some point.
Yeah, I mean, hell, we don't even actually see what happened to the main villain. I mean, what, did he die in the crush, or
Did
his
he get
father
expelled?
toss him out?
His uncle. Not that that's important to remember, but yeah. Yeah, it does feel like a bit of an abrupt ending when you get down to it.
Yeah. It's incomplete at all. That's a cherry on top.
Don't you see? It's the perfect way to pay homage to the first movie with that ending.
You shouldn't really be copying bad endings, though. That's the thing. So yeah, overall, this movie is just a slog for me, if I'm honest. I mean, it felt longer than even the second movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, the second movie I still consider actually good, whereas this movie, I can get why somebody would definitely like it, and it definitely has a lot more of the qualities from the first film if you did like it. The problem is that, again, to me, the plot just feels so unfocused, and the main protagonist feels like a drag to listen to and watch.
No pun intended on drag bit.
So, that was Tokyo Drift. So, yeah, regardless of how we feel about it, back when this movie came out, reception to it was not kind, for one reason or another. But,
And it flopped at the box office.
So, I guess somebody did some soul searching because, well, after this would come the highest grossing film in the franchise at the time, Fast and Furious. No, it's actually called that, Fast and Furious.
We're retconning the series.
No, actually, we're not.
Well,
I know.
not yet anyway.
Yeah, they just took the "thes" out, and there, new movie.
It's weird because the fourth movie is billed as a soft reboot, but we'll see you later for that. For now, have fun and good driving.
Drifting.
Yeah, because I just won another match on CTR Online. God bless the drift boost.
Alright, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.